Good morning, everybody here on the West Coast, and good afternoon to those in Canada and the East Coast. This morning on the podcast, we have a very special guest, Professor Gregg King. How are you
Hey,
today?
very good. Thank you for having me, Jessica. And it's an honor to be here. And we talked a few times online, and I always appreciate what you're doing. So I saw your podcast before, and then when you asked me to be on the podcast, I was like, yes, I want to do it. It's awesome. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for being a guest. Really appreciated. So I guess we'll just kind of dive right in because I know you and I are both super busy.
Yep.
I got stuff going on. I know you're currently in the middle of like a seminar camp, correct?
Winter camp seminar with Professor Hugo, who's my professor for France. So basically, we get him once a year here. He gets to see the new students. The students also allows me to be a student myself, which is something that I don't have the ability to do like right now since I have so much responsibility teaching
Yes.
and growing the academies and whatnot. So this is now I feel like a luxury now to become a student. You know. So
I get that. I get that. Yeah, that's you have two academies, right?
I have two, and I have three, four affiliates, and I'm looking to grow another two academies myself in the next few months. So yes,
That's busy. That's
yeah,
very
it's
busy.
nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. But yeah, it's awesome. It's a good thing. But we start learning how to appreciate being a student all over again.
Yes.
That, you know, even though I'm teaching, I'm always learning as I teach. I love being a student of the game of the martial art. And when I compete, I always feel like I learn, winning or losing. You know, it's as cliche as it sounds, but I always try to learn in any ways I can. But it's good when I have my professor come in and just be, you know, on the side watching and being like, okay, this is cool. Now I feel like I'm a white belt again, and I love it.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
amazing. And
yeah.
how long is the camp going on for?
So it's going on. It starts today, and it's going to go on for 5 days until Friday. So it's seminars for kids and adults, basically classes, gi and no gi with Professor Hugo, and we have the in-house tournament on Saturday,
Ooh,
which we make it a part of a you know the whole package. So that there is value for the students. We want them to show up, have a good time. It's not so much a competition to have people compete and feel that they're stressful and anxiety to I want it to be like an event within us because the team is large enough where we can have enough competitors in different brackets, you know, different divisions, kids and adults, and for them to have fun. It's like a rolling session, but now we have the timer, you know, like music in the background, refs and this, and everything is done professionally. We have a team that runs events that's going to be there to run the stuff for us. We have the space, you know, so it's going to be like an actual proper event, but
that's
it's just
cool.
it's for us, and we open up for, you know, jiu-jitsu is for everyone. So we open up for everybody as well. We just take a low cost, like only $20 for people to register to help out with the costs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, just so that people get to have fun as well. Like, you know, it's on the Saturday, so if you got nothing to do, just come and train and roll and have a good time. Music, food, coffees, you know, it's good. It's That's what jiu-jitsu is about, you know. It's
Oh,
supposed to be an
yes.
event. It's fun.
Yes.
And then on Sunday, the grading for kids and adults. We have
Okay.
two gradings a year. One is in the winter, one is in the spring, so in May. And I just won this week. Once a year we're gonna bring, because it's costly to bring a professor from France,
Yeah.
but it's important to do as well. And you know, I want it to be an event that everybody looks forward to. It's like, okay, this I can't wait for this time of the year. And then you know, just show up, have a good time, roll gradings, people level up, stripes or belts, rank up. I'm gonna have a lot of guests as well. I think we're gonna have about 15 to 20, maybe more black belts that are coming.
Nice.
Between my black belts, the black belts that train with me, and then guests that come. So it's gonna be like a crazy, crazy time. It's gonna be packed. I think we're gonna be over 100 people on the mats.
That sounds crazy,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like a
yeah.
lot of organizing, I would assume.
Oh, it's been honestly, that's the business side that we're talking about, and organizing
Yes.
it is crazy. I'm the kind of guy I like to do things on the go. I'm like, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine, and I leave things to last minute. I can't do that anymore because I don't want it to be, excuse the language, but I don't want it to be a shit show.
Yes.
like I'm a nice guy, I'm a laughing guy, I'm serious when I teach. I'm serious, but I'm not serious. I want people to take me seriously, but at the same time, life is too short, so I like to have a good time. And then
Yes.
I'm the kind of guy more laid back, and then it catches up to me, and I'm like stressing out, scrambling for everything.
Yep.
So now, as I grow, it's important. That's the thing. Also, part of the aspect that I didn't know before. I was more of a smaller team. I was more like, see, this was before my secondary. It was like a secondary business, and then after COVID, become a primary business. I was running a security. I was managing a security company before that.
Okay.
And then I was doing jujitsu like in the afternoons, in the evenings, teaching, and it was my secondary. So I was like, okay, after COVID, how things are gone and everything, and then it started growing after when we reopened, and
Okay.
it went pretty crazy. And I was like, you know what, I can see this grow, and what made it go to that level was I just like people was like, hey, I would like I started having 3 calls out of nowhere in the same week. People asking, hey, do you have kids classes? I was like, no, but I didn't have the time for those time slots. But I'm like,
Yes.
maybe I can try. So I started with 2 kids, 3 kids, and then literally after like 10 days of starting the kids program, I was like 10, 15 kids right away.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, okay, now I can focus on this. And I was like, you know what, people actually want, especially after COVID, they want to train. The kids needed the training, and I was like, you know, there's potential here to grow and do this good and do this proper. And if I only focus on this and put all my eggs in this basket.
Yes.
And so the company that I was working for and managing and running, it was a friend's. That's a long story on its side, but it was a friend. And then the way they did it was not proper, and then they pretty much shut down without letting me know. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna forget about this. I'm not gonna do help any other businesses anymore for now. I'm gonna focus on me. So at the same time this was happening, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, as we say.
Yeah.
And then it just transitioned into it. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to put all my focus in this, and it started growing from there. And then we are where we're at now, and in 6 months I think we grew from, I think it was like 25 students to now a little bit over 100.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
it's been doing really good. And for me, it's not the numbers that matter, it's the quality. So I focus a lot on the quality.
Yes.
And that's why I teach kids classes, and we have always 2 3 black belts that are there on the mats for the kids. And I have a bunch of assistants, that are like, like parents that want to help, that train jujitsu and they want to be there. So I have blue belts and white belts that are there, so it's amazing for the kids.
That's
And then
great.
the adults, we always have 2 to 3 4 5 black belts sometimes on the mat. So the students are learning great. So the quality is there. I love what I do. I love teaching. I never try to make excuses not to show up. For me, when I don't show up to teach, because sometimes it happens sick or not feeling well, I have to do other stuff like
Yeah.
take my cat to the vet or whatever. I have always somebody who's willing to cover. And I
Yes.
call them all the time because I'm like, I feel guilty not being there. I'm like, I want to be there. I
Yes.
hate taking time off. I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
taken a holiday in 7 years, Jessica.
Yeah, well, that's the grind, right? Of
That's the grind.
being self-employed. But if you love what you do,
Yeah,
it's worth it. But
I
that's a
love what I
long
do.
that's a long time though.
Yeah, and you know how this, because you're doing this too. You're pretty much
Yes.
doing it out of pocket in your own backyard and everything. I see what you're doing. It's amazing. For me, it's not work because it's my passion. I'm lucky that I found my passion, my way of life. Like earlier in life,
Yes.
still late but early.
Yes.
And I started jujitsu when I was 25. I'm
Okay.
41 actually this weekend.
Oh, happy
And
birthday ahead of
thank you. So it happens that it's on my birthday that we're doing the grading.
That's so fun.
It's
So it's like
crazy.
happy birthday to you, huh?
Oh, it's crazy. It's like such an amazing thing. I'm like so happy. And it's just like it's just like I get to do what I love with people that I love and I care about. Like my students are like friends, family. Like I see them more than my own family, You know,
Yes.
and vice versa. We're there 3, 4, 5 times a week together. We grind, we sweat, we bleed together. We go through so many ups and downs
Yes.
that I couldn't see my life without this, and I'm so thankful and grateful that I have the people that I have, even as students. So I never want to lower my quality and the standards that I have for a number, or to have 10 more, 20, 30 more students. I rather have what I have now, the way
Yes.
it's going, and growing with people that connect with what values we have. You
Yes.
know, the no egos. We're competition. Oh, sorry, my French accent kicks in sometimes.
You're good.
But my competition team is growing. We're getting really good. We're getting good rankings. The work is showing up. You know, we're still a fairly young competition, as we've really been focusing on growing this academy, and the King Jiu-Jitsu, you know, affiliates and brand. And I've been
Yes.
teaching for 12 years. I've been doing
Okay.
this, but it was always secondary. It was never
Like the
what it is now. So now in 6 months, we've grown so much as a team, as a competition team, and I'm working my butt off to build a competition team that you will see guys in IBJJF,
nice.
Europe, in the Europe competitions, North American competitions that are going to start winning, because I'm building systems where, and it takes time to build that, but systematic winning, you know, like technicalities for competition. And
Yes.
it's starting to show with the students that are competing, because the guys that never competed before, they just started 2 or 3 months ago, hang with guys that competed for 2 or 3 years more than them. So
Okay.
we're there, and there's more tweaking and stuff like that, but we're going to get there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And it
I love
bleeds
what I do.
over too. It bleeds over too. I'm
Yeah,
assuming they get better because they're surrounded by people who are super
exactly.
dedicated and doing it.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And I love to compete myself. And I also focus on the martial art aspect, not just the sport jiu-jitsu. That's why you see me always arguing with people with that one. I was like, don't water down the art. Don't water it down. It's a sport, but the sport is not really the real aspect. But
Yes.
sometimes there's different arguments. I get it. You know, sometimes people say that for the self-defense, the martial art, you have to train it so much that it becomes second nature,
Yeah.
so that you can use it if really you get punched in the face and this and that. Because if we teach a move here and there, it's not going to be useful. That's true. But at the same time, it's the mentality and the aspects of understanding that what we're doing is more of a martial arts, and then the sport is the second part of it. You
Well,
know,
well,
and
I
trust
mean,
me, I like both.
well, I mean, one way or another, you're still, if you're training jujitsu, you're technically teaching your body to change your normal biological reactions to
Hmm.
threat. For example, someone choking you, don't do the usual, turn into an
Hmm.
arm bar. So I think even for self-defense, that's very beneficial because you are rewiring your body's normal reactions to threat.
Ex- exactly, and it's very important. And we had a big discussion yesterday, because we went for dinner when we picked up Professor Hugo from the airport, and we were talking about, because I do have quite a bit of students that are like RCMP, cops, law enforcement, correctional officers, bodyguards, security agents, you know, all that stuff that are in that field, and some guys that actually went to war, and went to battle and been into fights. And they're like, you know, like when you teach the self-defense, this, that, like the soft, comfortable the self-defense, it's true, it makes sense. The arguments that they come with, they're like, yeah, it's not real. You got to train, like smack someone, and then
Yeah.
smack someone in the face, and then you'll see how they respond, and then you'll see their jujitsu. And I was like, that I agree, but I'm like, also, like, you can learn how to behave, to posture yourself, this and that. It's also a different aspect to martial art,
Yes.
self-defense, that goes beyond just getting hit, because sometimes you want to learn how to stop a fight, but your confidence as well
Yes.
changes. And sport jiu-jitsu doesn't really give that. It's a different type of confidence. But
Yes.
when you're an actual threat, you know, like for example, they joke about pulling guard and whatnot, but it's you're not gonna do that kind of, you know, like confidence of pulling guard and say, okay, come in my guard, you know. But it's just
Yeah. Yeah.
how you posture yourself, your hands, say like look at somebody in the eyes, and look like, listen, if you want to do this, we can do this. I'm ready. Are you ready? Because then there's no more gloves off, you know.
Yeah. And when you carry yourself that way, I assume it kind of makes
Exactly.
someone think twice. That
Exactly. And it's happened to me a few times, you know, and big guys and stuff. You say, look, you know, like either we can stop here, we discuss and stuff, and then we shake hands, or if you want to go, like we go, man, there's no problem. Then the guy thinks twice. He's like, okay, I don't think maybe I should. Well, you know, and then it goes like that, you know. And in most
Yes.
cases, the fight doesn't happen because I hear like, yeah, and start yelling and like, look, okay, whatever. That's what teaches you. Jiu-jitsu teaches you as well, is that how to
Yes.
assess a situation. And then you're like, okay, well, do I really want this? Do I want to waste my time? This, okay, I can do this. If he does, you have a different confidence that will take you a different path than
Yes.
just having like the full ego and be like,
React
yeah,
like a reactive,
yeah. You get like, what did you say? Okay, like, no, let's go, man, let's go. Like, I'll see you outside. And then an accident is quickly happening, and then you fall on the ground. Even if you do jujitsu, you fall, slip, your head hits the curve, and then you can't walk anymore for the rest of your life and stuff,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
or you hurt somebody else you didn't realize, and then you get into some. So that's what we try to teach as well as the martial
Yes.
arts, and
Yeah,
that's what I
like
try to teach the kids.
yes, like
Yeah.
to try not to get into fights first. That's the first rule, and then
and then and
worst
then
come
if
to
it happens,
worst.
it happens.
Yeah.
Come in my guard.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. It's
Yeah,
so true. And I mean, I took judo for a year too, and so like, if you don't know how to fall properly, if you get pushed over, like yeah, you could get hurt really bad. You
exactly.
break your arm and it sucks, then
and
then
No, you're absolutely right with that, because I am big on teaching the proper break falls, technical stands, the hip escapes, the guard recovery,
yes.
and it's all based on self defense. So if a guy comes in and walks towards you, it tries to kick you in the face, how to block, how to deflect, how to stand up. Now, if a
Yep.
guy walks to you and you can't just technical stand, kick them away. If you can't kick them away, then there's a sit up guard. You lift up, single leg, take down, pass the guard, stay on top,
Yep.
mount, look up, ask for help. The whole scenarios like that. And these are
Yeah.
part of the warm ups. So self defense doesn't have to be boring. It can be like a warm up that
Yes.
teaches you like the moves that this happens, the different, the far, medium, close range of a fall to take down, to stand up, and then how to behave, how to break your fall. And that's elements that a lot of people overlook sometimes. And I
Important.
think it shouldn't be, because it's very important. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Very important. So obviously, did you plan to have an academy of your own back when you started, when
I
you were 25?
I always knew.
Yep.
Yeah, I always knew. Like, I remember the first day I found jujitsu. More like jujitsu found me, because I was more like bodybuilder before. I was trying to get like all like jacked up for a show. I wanted to do something, but in my mind, I was coming off a bad breakup, so I was looking for something new. I was looking for something to take my focus away. I lost a lot of weight because of that. And then I started going back to the gym and trying to be like, okay, I got to do something. I want to learn kickboxing or boxing. I did a little bit of boxing before, and then I joined a couple of gyms, and I was taekwondo, uh, karate, kickboxing. I did boxing, and then all of the coaches that I went to, those academies, it sucked. I was just like, this is not for me. I didn't like the mentality. It's not that the martial arts sucked, it's the instructors.
Yes.
I felt like they weren't passionate, they weren't this, and then they were like, oh yeah, you put the gloves. I was like, so teach me how to put my gloves on. I don't know, like, or how did the guy wouldn't even teach me how to put a belt on or anything like that, or like, and that's
Yeah.
something that I would come in and I would know nothing, right?
Yes.
So I was like, man, this is kind of like not cool, like, and I wanted to do kickboxing because I want to learn how to kick and box, like to defend myself. So in my mind at that time, I was ready to learn something new. And then I was like, you know what? I put it on the back burner. And then a month and a half after that, I was going to the gym, and I walked in a gym, and then the back room, which is the aerobics room or whatever. You call this when they do the dance room or whatever. So there was a bunch of guys rolling on fold out mats, and
Okay.
I walked there. I saw it because I went to get some water, and then you can see the windows, and then I could see. I was like, so I go in. I'm like, what are you guys doing? What is this stuff? Is this stuff from the UFC? The typical
Yeah.
typical guy that's like this. Is like going in the gym, and I was like 190 pounds, and I was like thinking I was on top. I was a mountain. I could bench press this much weight, and then I was like, what is this? Is this the stuff that you see in the UFC that's like kind of looks weird, but looks cool at the same time, Like, what is this? And it's all like small guys, and I'm like, he's like, why don't you try it if you're interested? I was like, I don't know, man. I don't. And first of all, you guys are small. Like, what is this? I'm scared if I'm gonna break this guy. He's like, he looks at me. He's like, yeah, no, it's like, yeah, just try it, and we'll see if how you can do. Maybe you're natural. And I'm like, okay. So I remember like I was wearing a Under Armour rash guard or the shorts, and I was like, I was like, okay, I rolled with the guy, and I didn't know anything, and then this kid, literally 125 pounds, catches me in triangles, arm bars, rear naked, and I was like, I can't. I was like, what the man? Like, I was like, what is this? Man, I hate you guys. When do I come back?
Yeah, yeah,
And
right.
so, and I was like, I remember walking. This is a true story. I swear. I promise you. And then it was that gym was across from where I lived, the condo I used to live, and so it was a 5 minute walk and a 10 minute walk, and I remember I was like, he told me, okay, we're here every day, and this is the time. I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and I walked back home, and I was like, after getting the ass beating by all the smallest guys, and there was like 6 guys only training, and it was the purple belt that was teaching, Coach Joey, who's still a friend of mine today, and
That's
also
awesome.
a professor. Yeah, like we're still in close contact, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, because he actually taught me how to love. He knew how to share jujitsu, and that makes a big difference. And when we talk about how to grow the business and this and that, like that's the thing. That's one of the main element. And he taught me how to be passionate, because he was passionate. He made me want to be here. He was like, "It's okay. This is what you're gonna do." And this, he showed me the moves. He was there. He's like, "It takes time." He explained to me. He cared about taking the time to explain to me as somebody that knew nothing. And he was like, man, we're gonna do that. If you want, eventually you can compete. And I felt welcome right away.
Yeah,
And then I was like, okay, man, I like this. And then I remember walking back home, as I was saying, and I was like, I want to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And that
right
was the
away.
first day I knew right away. I didn't know right away. I was doing business with different things that didn't work at that time. I was trying different things. And then honestly, within the first 2 months, I was like, okay, well, what if I did a website? It was the beginning. There was Facebook. That was in 2008 that I started.
Okay.
2008, 2009. So Facebook, Instagram was still very new.
Yes.
Everything was mainly online. There was just like a few forums and this and that. Like it was there wasn't that much. It was still on YouTube. The only real place on YouTube to watch anything jujitsu related, like techniques and stuff, was Submission 101. I don't know if you
Okay.
remember. But they were like the first ones, and I was like, man, why don't I do this? I want to, maybe we can do a website and then put things together in the community and basically make it a jiu-jitsu world and this and that and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so I came up with a website called, and still on right now, I still have the Instagram right now, the Grappler's Planet.
Okay.
So that's a story on its own. But I started that. It was literally one of the first grappling and jiu-jitsu specific website in the world at that time. There was
Nice.
literally like 3 or 4. I think it was OTM that
Yep.
was
Scotty's.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Scotty, I know him as well. Scotty Nelson.
Yep.
Uh, um, uh, it was Submission 101, Scotty. Uh, I don't know if you remember them, Budo
Yes.
Mag or Budo videos. Budo
Yes.
videos, yeah. So this guy with what's his name, Jake. Yeah,
I think so.
so
Yes.
yeah, so I was, we were like a small group, and then I was sponsoring a lot of events at that time. Grappler's Quest.
Nice.
We did Naga, a lot of local events here. I was actually at one point taking videos for the IBGGF. I did the worlds and all stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, a lot of stuff. And so I was like, that's when I was like, I want to do this business and I want to teach. And so white belt, I was first competing, and I was doing really well as a competition, because when I put my mind into it, I just do it,
Yes.
and I want to be the best. So I was to compete right away. After a few months of training,
Yep.
my goal was to be honest with you, was to smash those kids that smashed me the first day.
You were you
So
were
I was
determined.
like, I gotta get better. I gotta smash these guys. I gotta pay back.
Yes.
And then so that was my motivation to get better. And yeah, eventually the level starts getting better and better, and I start catching them, and I was like, I was like, okay, I want to compete. And then Coach Joey made me compete. We did good. I won my first competition.
Nice.
It was awesome. And then I was like, you know what? When I get my blue belt, I like to teach. And that's when it wasn't as a business at the time, because again, up to like really uh, 7 months ago, or 6 months, 7 months, since January, it's when it actually turned into my primary business.
Yes.
But I always taught, so like there was this blue belt that was teaching from our academy. He was teaching at another academy a little bit farther away, and then he couldn't do it anymore or didn't want to do it anymore. And then they asked me if I wanted to take over, and I was like, I was a brand new blue belt, and I was like, yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's when I never stopped teaching. It was 2000 and 2010 is when I started
Nice.
teaching. I started 2008, 2009 jiu-jitsu, and 2010 I got my blue belt, and I started teaching from there. I was teaching for somebody else, and then the program was up and down. The owners, they had to shut down, they would open somewhere else, so it was always up and down.
Yes.
Like it was doing good, then shut down, restart, do it up, do it. So that's how I started learning as well through them, what works, what doesn't work, and this and that.
Yep.
And I had some really good students, and they were winning. One of them is actually like a black belt now, top level competitor, Michael Sheehan.
Nice.
He was a blue belt under me. And I had to leave the country, so he went to continue jujitsu at another team here, and he's never stopped at either. And he's a black belt now, and he's doing amazing.
That's
So
awesome.
there's as a blue belt, I started developing some strong competitors, and we were like 4 or 5 students, and out of the five, 4 were winning competitions.
That's
You know,
awesome.
so so I was like, okay, like if I wasn't good at jujitsu, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, it's
To
true.
translate the jujitsu to another student is different than doing it yourself.
So different.
So I was like, okay, I like this, and then I never stopped, and I was always grinding to teach, and uh, it was a good way for me to always be on the mats and
Yes.
spend time with good people and always there. And I met some amazing people all the time, and I traveled as well thanks to that.
Yes.
For the business, I lived in California for 6 months in Huntington Beach.
Oh, nice.
I trained with Checkmat there, uh, Kleber Luciano. I don't know if you know
Yes.
him.
Yes, I do.
So Kleber, a very good person, became a very close friend. Joao Assis as well. I trained with Lucas Leitch. I trained at different
Nice.
academies. Yeah, like Checkmat La Habra.
Okay.
That's where I went. Electric Jiu Jitsu, Kleber. I did King's MMA a couple times,
Nice.
but that's more MMA. So I didn't. It's not my thing. So
It's a
I
little
didn't really.
different.
Yeah.
Very different,
Um,
actually.
I competed there. I did, I did like quite a few, and then it was awesome time. It
And you
was
learn
it
a
was
lot
awesome.
like that, seeing all the different styles and how they run it. It
To
helps you develop a good product for your academy.
and that's to be honest, like I consider myself a good passer. And that was because Checkmate is known for that, and that's where I
Yes.
started developing as a purple belt my passing. I was looking at them. The Leo Vera, I trained with Leo Vera. He was there, and picking his brain a couple things, and it's kind of developed my style a little bit on the passing.
Okay.
Because they're known for being great passers, like
Yes.
so that was more my style of jujitsu. And I like I'm more of a type of defensive jujitsu as well, so I like to be on the bottom and work my way up to the top,
Okay.
and then pass. And then because I feel like when you go on the bottom, you get to the top, the person is already starting to be mentally
Yes. Yes.
defeated,
Yes.
and I love that feeling. That feeling is amazing. And
You can
then you
feel
pass
it.
them, and you add to it, and then you put the pressure, and then I love it.
And
So
they're just
that's
like,
more
ah.
my style. So people are like, "Why you always start on the bottom?" It's like, "Cause I love it. That's my game." And they're like, "Well, it looks weak." I'm like, "That's my game."
That's like hiking, you start at the bottom, go to the top, you got
Exactly.
it.
That's a good. Yeah, I like that. It's a good metaphor. I like that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's how it is. I love traveling. I was lucky to do that. And I met a lot of good people through jujitsu. And some
Yes.
some less good, but those people are not around anymore.
Yeah. you know?
That's the way it goes. The bad
Yeah,
ones, they come and go. There's always going to be bad ones, but they never really stick, or they get shunned out, which is what I like.
it
When
is a
they're bad
small enough
people.
community that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, especially lately, what's going on and stuff like
Oh
that with
yeah. Yeah.
all this. Yeah, so yeah, it's after doing jiu-jitsu for like 14, I'm on my 15th year. I've seen a lot. I wouldn't say I've seen it all, but I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
uh and then uh, I know what I want and what I want to provide to my students, so
Yes.
you know
Yes. And that's important. And because
yeah,
you traveled around and cross trained, you're able to see that as well. I'm assuming.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was always loyal to my team
Yes.
that I was before I was with Hugo, Professor Hugo, and I always told him whenever there's no classes, I'm gonna go and visit my friends and train and do open mats. And I was training 6 times, 7 times a week.
Yep.
But anytime that my own team had classes, that's where my focus, my priority was. I'm not gonna go and train somewhere else
Yes.
if my team is having classes or my professor's teaching, because that's my loyalty, my duty to be there as a student. That's the team I chose.
Yep.
It shouldn't feel like I'm obliged to be there or this and that. So I was like, this is my priority. This is my duty. This is the integrity that I have. So whenever there's classes, that's where I have to be. But when there's no classes, I want to learn. So I'm gonna go and train this and that. And I told him, and I was always upfront and transparent with my professor. I was like, look, I'm not doing this. I'm not getting graded. I'm not doing this from any team. This is my team,
Yep.
but I need this, and I need this to grow. And so when my students, they want to train elsewhere, I'm like, if I told them no, I'll be such a hypocrite because I've done this. But the only thing is, as long as they know the loyalty goes both ways, first of all. But if the
Yes.
loyalty is there and you don't have to worry, and they tell you, just I tell them, tell me, just not because I want to know. I'm not there to control you or this and that. A
Yep.
lot of people I know, a lot of teams, a lot of people, a lot of black belts, they do that for control and this. And I was like, no, I just want to know so that I know where you're at, just as your safety, if something happens or anything like that.
Yes.
I don't want to know because I want to control your movements. You do whatever.
Yeah.
That's why I charge only month to month. I don't do
Yes.
contracts. I don't
Same.
believe in. I do month. Yeah, like I'm like, you want to be with me because you want to be with me and the team. But
Yes.
if you don't want it, and this is not the team for you, or you grew, or you like this one better, or this, and then by all means go. The most important for me is that if you like jujitsu, that you do jujitsu, you stick with jujitsu. That's the most important.
Yes.
The
Yes.
who you are with really is a detail.
Yes.
If you have to leave because I failed, or I didn't listen to you, or I didn't help you improve or progress, or this or that, that's my fault. Then I deserve you to leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But if you want to leave because also you grew, or you like something better, or you want something more mellow, or you want something less this, less that, then go by all means. And it happens all the time. I got students, they move somewhere else, they go somewhere else, or they're like, you know what, my daughter is training there, I want to go spend time with my daughter. I was like, go.
Yeah.
uh you're always welcome. And then you say down the line you want to come back by all means. Or oh, I don't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore. I'm sorry to hear that. But you always have to give the ability for the student to feel welcome
Yes.
if they want to come back, or welcome if they want to leave. But
Yes.
know that regardless, they're respected. You hear them, you see, look, if I can do better, I can do better. But sometimes there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you're not doing anything wrong, sometimes it's just the way it is. So you have to respect that and give them the opportunity to still love jiu-jitsu and not make them feel guilty or anything like that if they want to go.
So true.
So that's why I do month to month. I'm like, hey, whenever, I tell them straight up, this is not a contract. This is,
Yep.
as long as you like what I do, like the vibes, you like the teaching, you like competing under us, this and that, then you're welcome. And if you don't like, just tell me. Just tell me 30 days in advance, and then you're good to go. And if you want to come back, we can discuss, depending on how they go as well.
Yes.
If I had some people, of course, I've seen it all. Like they'll just be rude or talk bad, and I was like, why? Just because they want to feel better. I was like, okay, well, there's nothing really, because I know myself, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
and then they can prove otherwise, and then I will see what they have as far as proof. And I know there is no much, so I'm like, I'm comfortable and confident with myself.
Yes,
I'm like, okay, so just people sometimes make it harder than it is,
so
but I've
true.
had that maybe in 12 years, one or two times only, you know.
Yeah.
But and then they want to come back after. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, like, why was it so bad then that you want to come back, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
They had time to reflect.
exactly. And maybe they see something else. They thought it was better. The grass is green always on the other side, and they're like, oh. I'm like, okay, well, like it's whatever. For me, it's not the quantity, it's the quality.
Absolutely
And that's
makes
what I
sense.
focus. But we always have to have an open mind, especially if you do this kind of business.
Yes.
Um, that you have to have an open mind and think outside the box, but also accept criticism.
Oh, yes.
You know, I've had people tell me like, listen, I love the way you teach, but I feel like it's too aggressive. I'm like, what? What do you mean
Ne-
too aggressive? Well, I feel like it's more focused on submission. I like more mellow. I was like, oh, okay, I see. Oh, so if I can do that, then even if a 30 people, 40 people in the class, and one person who has something to say, I want to listen and I want to see if I can incorporate what they're saying and how to make it better. And I
Yeah.
always try to adapt because maybe it helps me, and it does in most cases, when they have constructive criticism, to
Yes.
help evolve and give a better environment of vibes or teaching. And some, they were telling me like, some students, they were saying, maybe you have to slow down when you teach or break it down more. And it's been what I've been doing more and more.
Yeah.
And that's what led to me thinking about the systematic winning. I'm breaking down techniques to come from A to Z and all the stuff in between, and how to channel things together so that
Yes.
efficiently students from a guy that started today or like a black belt can like understand and use it in a live
Yes.
role, without having too much thought process,
So
because the
true.
thought process is what slows you down. And when it slows you down, that's when you start losing, because you're
Yeah.
thinking too much instead of doing. And then that's what makes a big difference when you have seconds that make it matter, especially in competitions.
Yes.
3 seconds they got a point, so you don't have that much time. So
Yes.
you can't just wait, stop, think, wait, do, okay, slow down. No, you have to
Yeah.
do everything, and that comes with
Yeah.
systematically putting things together and ingraining that in people's mind and body. And this is what I'm doing with my students. So I love it when I see kids and adults, they start putting things together. And I'm like, a kid that just started like 3 weeks ago, people are like, how long he's been training for? I was like, he's honestly is his fourth class. I was like, no, and it looks like he's been training for 6 months. I was like, honestly, I can show you on paper. It's three, 4 classes.
Yeah.
The guy can start. The girl can start single leg takedown, passing, knee cut, side control, mount,
Yeah.
airplane, hold this, and then the guy pushes, or the girl and armbar. And there's like four classes,
Yeah. It
or
chains
technique.
together.
And I like that's the way I like to teach.
Yes.
It's not just one move, two moves a day, and that's not related. And this,
Yeah.
that's not the way, because I feel like that's like people are like, but how do I put this together?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like teaching words without giving them a
Yeah,
sentence structure. They need to
exactly.
understand the direction.
But that's how it was when I first started, and that's how you have to take in constructive criticism, where you're like, I was teaching like mount escape or armbar, and then this, like the technique was right, but it's people didn't understand how to get there. Okay,
Yes.
mount escape, but how do I get there, or how do I get out of there, or how do I prevent if this and that happen? So now I just put things more simplistically together, but a
Yes.
chain reaction of things, and then we go and add variants later on the week and this, so they know the basics and then the basic movements, and we add on. It's kind of like uh, like I love gaming. I love Call of Duty. If you see me game, you see
Yes.
I do gaming and I rage a lot, and I go nuts. I'm
Yeah.
very competitive, but it's like the games, you start. I give Call of Duty as an example because it's kind of like the only game I really play, but it's very also close to reality, in the sense that you have to level up,
Yeah.
you got to rank up, and then every rank up or everything level up that you do technique wise, it's like you add a new attachment to your gun or to your outfit and this and that, and then it makes the gun better, smoother, more accurate, more agile, more faster rate of fire, and it's the same thing in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're gonna start with the bare gun. You have to level it up. There's not much. It's still a good gun,
Yeah.
but it's not much. And you're gonna be behind on guys that already have a higher level gun. They're gonna beat you because the fire rate is this, that, and
Yeah.
then you start putting an attachment, and it's getting better. Now this, then your time, your TTK, like we call time to kill, like is getting better. So now it's less time to kill. It's the same in jiu-jitsu, right? So I tell that to the kids,
Absolutely.
and they love it because it's like Fortnite. And I'm like, yes, and they're like, oh, I love this. And I'm like, okay. And then it's like, do I get V-Bucks? I'm like, no, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
so
That's so
so
funny.
yeah. So that's really what I try and do as a jiu-jitsu. Like, it's the basics and the fundamentals have to be strong and solid, that they can rely on this without thinking. And
Very important.
then we add different things. But it's funny and weird and sad at the same time that a lot of teams focus to teach the crazy stuff right away
Yeah.
without the basics and fundamentals,
Yep.
which is fundamentally wrong for me,
I
because
agree.
I feel like they don't have those basics, those bases, the reliance that they should have. This, like, uh comfort zone, or the comfort blanket of knowing that at least you have this, that you can prevent getting hurt, or prevent a person advancing in positions or putting you in a worse positions,
Yes.
like something that you can rely on without a doubt. And that takes time. You gotta ingrain it, as I said, into
Yes.
people's mind and body. And that
Yes.
just comes with consistently showing up to the mats, but also consistently showing those basics. And I
Yes.
tell people, I was like, sorry, I know some of you know it, your advanced belts know it, and this and that, but trust me, we're gonna add a little detail that might do something better, that may
That
help you
happens a lot.
better. Yeah, and sometimes it's just an inch, or like,
Yes.
the arm here, you curl, like you do this, just that angle, the elbow right here instead of here.
Yes.
It helps a bit, and I do this by testing things out. I watch, I read a lot, I look a lot at the books, the YouTube, the BJJ fanatics, this and that. I put everything together because I don't know it all, and I want to come up, and then I want to see also that what I take in my mind, if it applies, but I also want to see that the guidelines of it is in the proper, like, how you say this, in the outlines of it is in the proper guidelines, that it's
Yes.
not something that people will like, yeah, that looks cool, but that's never going to work in a real situation.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want it to be able to work in a real role.
Yes.
And that's why I don't focus on the fancy stuff too much. But fancy is a good something. You have to have sometimes that wow factor,
Yes.
when you teach something, and then there's this, and then the guys go, whoa.
Oof.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, what the fuck is that, man?
Yeah. Yes.
And then you're like,
Absolutely.
yeah, that was easy, man, but I'll teach you later.
It's the fancy black belt magic stuff.
Yeah. But you got, but I feel honestly that, for example, my students, I know that they get more wild at the factor on how, when I show a move, how flawless I can move and show them from this position to that, and finish with the submission, and transition within that submission from a defense to this and that. And I
Yes.
feel that that's what, and it's simple stuff, but it's how you channel it and you glide
Yes.
it together, and you put the components together, that they're like, wow, that's, I want to be able to do like that, instead of the
Yes.
fancy stuff that, hey, that's once in a while you have to, and sometimes it's good, but
Yeah.
I like to keep more basic jujitsu and stuff. So sometimes we go back to that, and I tell them, okay, it's boring, but we have 3 new guys, so I can't go too crazy. But,
Yes.
like, and then I show the higher belts build different things. So I always make sure that the basics and fundamentals are understood. And to be honest, when I see the posts of people saying, uh, purple belts skip warm ups and this and that, I don't have anybody that want to skip warm ups. And when they do,
Yeah.
they call me and say, "Hey, professor, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna be late because of work." I was like, "No problem.
Yeah.
just come, and then just show up whenever you can. And then I
Yeah.
hate missing the class, and it's like sometimes it happens. It's life, and I understand. And then they feel bad for missing warm ups because I always want to make warm ups fun, educational,
Yes.
something that they feel they got to use. And I explain to them why. I show them why this is important. I show them this is why we do the hip escape, because you got to use it in this scenario, and
Yep.
also the basic movements that we do only help your jiu-jitsu better because you can use that for this position, this escape, this attack, and it's the same movement. I
Yeah.
show them why this and this. So why wouldn't you want to do this to make your jiu-jitsu better and more fluid and more tighter?
Yes. And you're
And
drilling it into the
uh,
autonomic nervous system.
exactly. That's the biochemist in you that talks right now. I like that. Uh,
Because then they
and
don't have to think; it just happens.
exactly. And
Yes.
and they feed on that, and they actually come to class. And my basics and fundamentals are my most busiest class. I have like classes from, I would say a small class now is 35 people.
That's
I'm
nice.
reaching 50, 55 people a class now. It's crazy.
Amazing. Amazing.
It's going nuts, and touch wood. But it's been doing good. And then and I have a love for basics and fundamentals.
Yes.
I feel that that's really the life of what we do. And then the intermediate advanced class is more fancy, a little bit harder, and I make them understand that this class is not catered to the beginners. This class is catered to go a little bit faster, a little bit more harder moves. It doesn't have to be harder, but more moves, techniques that a lower belt shouldn't use or know
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to put it together efficiently, where it's going to slow down the other person to learn and practice and this and that.
Yes.
So those classes are super busy. Like, it's like nearly I have to, the students wrap around the whole room, when
Yeah.
we bow out and bow in. It's crazy. And they all came up, like, honestly, like it was a point where last year, like, or before COVID, that it's like 5, 10 people, and 10 people in the class, 12 people was a big class.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
now I'm like, wow, like it's amazing. And I have high levels. I have black belts, brown belts, purple belts, and blue belts and white belts and competitors, and the room is crazy. So that's why, like now we call it, like, when it's time to roll. And every class we do 40 to 45 minute rolls,
Nice.
every class.
Nice.
So now everybody's like, we started thinking where we call it, because we say kill or be killed,
Yes.
like, so teach them in competition or self-defense, the conditioning. And so now we say it's a murder session.
Yep.
And everybody goes, murder session, end session. And then we go, and then we start rolling. And I was like, nobody take time off. And sometimes I do different rounds, where I started thing now where, like, sometimes they'll have some break in between rounds, and some there's no break. So it will be the round 5 minute, 6 minute. Sometimes we switch the times, but I say 5 minute round. Okay, well, I'm gonna put the timer. You guys got enough time to get to a new partner. There's no break. You go straight up, and then you
Yeah, like
push the
10, 15
condition.
seconds.
So
Go.
it's like, oh, I gotta go. Five. You got 5 seconds to pick a partner. Pick whoever. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's a big guy, the black belt, the white belt. Everybody just roll, go,
Yes.
boom. And I always tell them, you can slow down, but you cannot quit. That's actually a tagline for what I've been doing for a long time. Is that you can slow down, but you cannot quit.
Smart.
Slow down, don't quit. And that's the thing that what I do for the grading is, like, people that get ranked, they're getting the new belt. They get a Shark Tank, and they cannot get off.
Okay.
They can slow down, but they cannot quit. If you quit, you don't level up the
Smart.
belt.
Makes sense.
I gotta pick up this phone number, this
No
call, because
worries.
that is
The
my
repair.
stone chip. Yeah, the repair.
Yes. Yes.
So can we take a 2 minute break just so that for me to call them,
Can I pause it? Let's see. Am I able to pause it?
or
Or we
let
could
me?
just wrap it up. I mean, that way you could do your thing, or you could, I don't know how you want to do it. I don't know if I,
Okay.
yeah.
Let me just text this guy right now.
Yeah, no worries. I don't want to, I know you had
give
already
me.
told me you were waiting for that one. So I don't want to interrupt it. It's
One
like,
second. I'm
no
texting him saying
worries.
I am on a podcast with a very important person. Please call me back.
Thank you.
So yeah, like yeah, so that's the thing. So I really want to, that's the mentality I want to develop, is you can slow down but you cannot quit. And
Smart.
it's nothing to add stress to a student or this, but I want them to know that you're doing a martial art. You're basically trying to learn something or do something that can save your life, and it might only take 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, you don't know, but you should be in tip top shape and technique and mindset, that if anything happens, you can use that 10, 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 minutes to save your life or save somebody else's life. And
Yes.
maybe in your life you might never need that, but that's the goal, is to be so properly performant and
Yes.
trained that if that happened, then you should be good. You know, put more sizes, more chances on your side
Yes.
to increase your chance of survival. And this is what I really want to show to the kids and adults. And I've had
Yes.
to use self defense and jujitsu many times. And it's not just physical; it's jujitsu in everyday life. You know how to get it
Yes.
from a bad position to a better position.
Yes.
It depends, like, what I'm saying, like,
Mentally too, like off the mats,
exactly,
like
like work, situation, relationship wise, something in your life is, or in your day is frustrating you. Well, okay, like, I gotta breathe. The first thing is I gotta breathe. Then I gotta create space. Then I gotta start moving. This is same, and I use that every day. But also
yeah.
physically, I had to defend myself a few times. I did a security company and job, and I've done bars here and there when I was younger, and this and that. I know what it is to get punched. I got my nose broken a few times. I did actually an MMA fight because I wanted to see what it is to be in a cage. So I know what it is to be in an actual fight confrontation, and a lot of people don't, and I really hope that they don't have to,
Yeah.
because you never know. But I know that um, I've used jujitsu, self defense techniques, takedowns, wrist locks, grabs, somebody grabbing me, break that grip.
Yep.
I had to punch some people in the face. They punched me. I know what it is.
Yep.
And most cases, because I was trained, I was like, when you get in the car and you're shaking, you got that adrenaline and stuff, and you're like,
Yeah.
or when the police is there or whatever, you're like, and you came out good from it, and you're like, wait, that was too easy.
Yeah. Right.
I was like, that was too easy, like, because the most guys are gonna attack you or fight with you or have ego or this and that come in your face, like they're not really fighters or jiu-jitsu guys, so they don't know. So you can just go there and grip them. They don't know, so they're like, what the hell just happened? And you put them in the ground, arm lock. It was just awesome.
It
So
happens. I mean, I've had to use it twice, and both times it made me feel good, especially being like, I'm short, I'm small, like I'm like a
yeah.
123-pound woman, and
Wow.
it helps me, and
Yeah.
it makes me feel good. So I
Wow, that's
think
awesome.
I think it's great. I think it's
I think every kid should learn it.
oh yes, very important.
Every kid should learn it, and that's why when the parents bring their kids, and I like, you're giving them the best gift ever, because I don't see this as a thing. People confuse jujitsu and say, I've never really had that. I've had it once where a person goes like, well, I am a client and I'm always right, and I'm like, no, you're not a client. I'm not offering really a service or a product.
Yes.
I think it's wrong to think that. What I tell the students and the parents and adults is that I teach you a new language. I teach you a body language. This is a language that you learn language to speak when you travel different countries, and you have a language also that how to carry yourself and present yourself, that will speak to people without you speaking to them, but they'll know not to mess with you, not to, because what people look to bully and as a target, most likely than not, are weak people. If you don't
Yes.
put yourself as a weak person and you have confidence, people are not gonna look for you. They want an easy prey. If you don't
It's
look
true.
like an easy prey, they're not gonna. So that's a language that I'm teaching you, and you're teaching your kid a new language. They speak English, French, English, Farsi, English, Chinese, Korean, whatever, and they learn to speak jujitsu.
Yes.
I was like, this, you're giving them such a good gift. I wish my parents took me to jujitsu at 8 years old, you know?
Yes.
So I'm like, thank you. You're doing amazing. And that's why I was like, thank you for trusting and believing in me with your kid, because I
Yes.
want to teach them the best so that I know that if they go out there and they defend themselves, and it has happened, parents told me, man, my kid was doing bad in school, grades, this, and is doing much better now, better confidence, less anxiety, more focus. He's doing better with ADHD, ADD.
Yep.
He was being bullied. Now he's not bullying anymore. Now he's got more friends. Now she's got more friends. She's not bullied anymore. This and that. And then, oh, she used the jujitsu, not just the physical, but the mind. And she's feels better and she's more strong, and adults as well, they use the jiu-jitsu in their daily life, because
Yes.
adults get bullied on the workplace, at home too. Some of them I notice are more and more getting bullied and harassed by their kids and stuff, so
These
yeah,
days.
so I'm like, okay, now you're that's so I was like, thank you for letting me teach you that. And I try not to be a hypocrite, because whatever I teach them is what I use myself. I want to use myself. I feel like I can use myself. I don't want to teach them stuff that is bullshit. I don't go 10 minutes before class and look at my phone and look at YouTube and teach YouTube video
So
techniques,
true. So true. I've
you
never done
know
that.
yeah, but I know a
Yeah.
lot of people that do that and it
They do.
works
Yeah.
for them. It's good. But again, it's how you translate that technique, because it's okay, we gotta learn, we gotta look from different things, that's how you also stay current. But as long as you don't make it look like it's never something that you can use in real time or in real
Yeah.
situation, then if you can't, it's not worth that much time to focus on,
It's
so
true.
sometimes the basics of fundamentals may be boring to some people, but I know that I've never had that case at my academy, or
Yeah.
they can comment right now, do you think it's boring at gym?
Yeah.
you know
No, it's
and
good.
so that's why I wish you come and train and you could see for yourself, and then vice versa. I'm gonna come visit you one day too, because I love
Awesome.
California. and
Sweet.
i and I looked at Big Bear, right? You're in Big Bear, right?
Yes, we're up at 7,000 feet. So it's
Wow.
good
So
altitude training.
that's good for the conditioning and the breathing and stuff.
Yes, for the
uh
cardio.
Man, I would love to come there, and I see good ski resorts as well, so
Oh,
maybe
yes.
one day. And then because I'm going to come back soon, for sure. I want to go to Universal Studios, Disney World.
Yep.
I want to go back to Huntington Beach, visit my friends. I haven't seen them in a long time, train there. Obviously go back to the pyramid and compete.
Yes.
I want to become a world champion. That's one of my goals on the bucket list.
Nice.
I want to be a Masters world champion.
Sweet.
I want to do it. So yeah, I'll come visit if you allow me to.
Oh, absolutely. You're
Uh,
welcome anytime.
yeah,
Yes.
I would
You
love
know,
to. And your facility looks amazing. Like
thank
honestly,
you.
like
It
wow. I was like, that's pretty good.
was a lot of hard work. I general contracted the whole thing myself, so it's been
Wow,
a lot of work, but I'm happy with
very
the
good. And I
product.
see you posted in the group. That's why I got to get to know you. It was because I saw people you posting stuff, and people were like harassing you or critiquing you, or say, I was like,
Oh,
why do people do that? Like you're being proud of showing what you're doing, and people still like were talking down to you. That's why I was like, I gotta step in. I gotta tell them to shut the fuck up.
well, you can't make everybody happy these days.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. You can't. No,
So,
you can't. You can't. You can't make people happy.
and realistically, we're in a resort town here, so I get a lot of visitors from
Mm,
Atos and
mm.
Checkmat and Legacy, and because they come to ski, snowboard, mountain bike, dirt bike, kayaking,
I'm sure they have a good
hiking.
time.
Oh yeah, so it's
Yeah,
like, that's why I always love people coming through because it's good for me and my
that's awesome.
students, and
That's
we
awesome.
would
I
love
would
to
love
have you. It'd be an honor.
I would love to, and then if I can teach something,
Oh
like for
yes.
sure, that'll be awesome.
Oh yeah.
I just love meeting new people, training, learning new things, and like last time I learned something from a white belt was 2 weeks ago.
It
I was
happens.
like, I was like, wow, I can wait, I can use that.
Well, because
Let's try and
they
make it better.
react different. And you're like, wait a
Yeah.
minute.
And he's like,
Like,
hey, professor, they look at the arm. If it goes here and I do this, look at what happens. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I told you that.
yep, yep.
And I was like, that's good. I was like, man. So I was joking, but I was like, yeah, like I just learned something from you. And he was like so proud. I was like, huh. So do I get my black belt now? I was like, oh my
Ah,
god.
yeah. You gotta
I was
wait for
like,
that, buddy. Yeah.
you can go to Amazon.com and you can get one and you can wear it in 10 years
But the
from
but
now.
the mat but the mats will show the truth, you know.
Exactly.
That's the thing about jujitsu. The mats don't
Exactly.
lie.
No.
So
I've actually had people that were wearing black belts and you're like,
confused.
and I don't want to be the guy, but I'm like, I when we bow in and out there, they stand next to me and stuff. But I'm like, and even my students, I would see like, white belts and black belt. I mean, white belts, blue belts, like tapping, and I'm like, and I roll with that person. I'm like, you're so fundamentally and so off. Like the way you respond, if it's a jujitsu person or not.
Yes.
And later on, like I found out it was actually just a karate black belt.
And they just wear it to jujitsu or
No, but that's the funny part. He was wearing an actual jujitsu black belt with the red bar.
no, you can't do that. That's not how that works.
And he was like, but I'm a black, and he didn't tell me. I was like, okay, no, I expect everybody to be honest.
Yes.
And so so as you say, the mat never lie.
Yep.
You can wear whatever, but in the end, if you're not that rank, we will know.
Everyone's gonna know.
And I'm a nice guy. I'm chill. I'm like, I talked to him after, and I have a couple people like that came in and out and stuff. And but some people, they're not gonna be so lenient. They will actually like, call them out, be aggressive with them, this and that. You've seen some of the videos.
Oh yeah. It's
I'm like, so I tell the person, I was like, be careful where you go in that wearing that, because people take it very seriously and you will
yeah.
actually piss people off.
Oh yeah.
Because that means you're degrading their hard work and everything. And I was like, look, I'm a nice guy, And some people are nice guys, but they're not as nice as me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a student who's a judo brown belt, studied in Japan for 8 years.
Wow.
And he came in wearing a white belt because he's like, I don't know
Exactly.
jiu-jitsu, and now he's a blue belt now. Today's his birthday, actually. Happy birthday, Brandon.
Happy birthday, Brandon.
And he respects that. And I respect him. If I went to judo class, I'm a white belt. Like I don't,
exactly. When I want to do judo and whatever, I wear a white belt. If I do taekwondo, whatever it is, I wear a white belt. That's the way it is. And it's funny how people don't have this kind of, I don't know, attitude. It's terrible,
Yeah.
And I do have some guys that train with me that are black belt in different arts, like Kyokushin,
karate,
they're judo, and they wear white or blue belts on the mats. It's like, and they know, but I mean, they're strong as hell because of the technique, and they learn faster because they're more inclined to understanding because it's part of them.
Exactly.
But yeah, they're doing so good and faster, and they're gonna progress on a different level.
Yep.
But yeah.
So true. So true. Well, I know I kind of went over. My apologies, but I appreciate you so much for taking the time to chat. I hope you have a great day. Have fun. This sounds like a great event you put up,
Thank you. I wish you could have come, but next time, hopefully.
Yeah.
If you're ever in Toronto, Canada, please, you're always welcome.
To come by and train.
It'll be awesome. I know it's far from you, but if you
I've driven all the way to Connecticut and back, so it's kind of like you just cut off at New York, right? Go up across, so.
It's an honor. But thank you so much. The guy is actually calling me.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. And there was so much more I wanted to talk about, but maybe we can do it again, part 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then you had questions that I'm sorry I didn't answer because I love talking about this, so I keep talking, and I hope that your viewers are gonna appreciate
love it.
But Jessica, thank you so much, and you're awesome, and let me know. I'll post the link up everywhere.
For sure. Thank you so much, Professor King. Have a great day.
Thank you, and you're doing an awesome job with the podcast. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.